Manager with Aimsun. I'm here in Barcelona and I'm going to be hosting the Aimsun webinar series today. So good morning to everyone in the European time zone. Good afternoon or even good evening for everyone in the Asia Pacific time zone. And perhaps a very early good morning to anyone connecting from the United States. I'm happy that you have joined us today for our next Aimsun webinar series. This is the third webinar in a row, and today we'll be covering a new topic, which is not only the Aimsun X software, but we'll be talking about the Aimsun standard and custom solutions. Next to me, at least virtually, is Dimitris Triantafylos, a senior product specialist with Aimsun, and he will be helping me with answering your questions. We have a lot to cover in maybe almost an hour today, so let's get us started. What are we going to cover? First, I will briefly introduce the company for those that are not yet familiar with Aimsun. And next, I will go through 4 solutions of our offering: the Aimsun Insight, Aimsun Predict, Aimsun Start, Aimsun Plus. And then I will move on and present some customized solutions that we offer to our clients. Finally, we will wrap up with a Q&A session. Regarding the questions and answers, please use the Q&A tab on the Teams. You can ask all your questions there, and I have my colleagues that will answer your questions on the fly. And then, if time allows it, at the end of this webinar, we will get hopefully a little bit deeper on some of your questions. This webinar is being recorded. It is going to be shared with you. You will get an email with a link to this shared webinar. And on top of that, the webinar will be also posted on the YouTube channel of Aimsun, so you can share this webinar with all your friends and colleagues. So make yourself comfortable and let us start the presentation. Aimsun is a company that has been on the market over 25 years. It all started here in Barcelona as a spin-off of the Technical University of Catalonia in Barcelona, and we've been on the market ever since. We are known as software developing company, but also since more than a couple of years, we made a transition to a solution-oriented company. So we are combining the skills of the software developers together with traffic engineering and project deliveries to our clients. Some of the clients are mentioned on this slide. We are very thankful to these clients. Of course, this list is not complete, and we are working globally for transport agencies, consultancies, but also in academia in more than 100 countries. We do have a worldwide presence. In this slide, you can see the location of our offices, stretching from New York, our European offices in Barcelona, London, and Paris, all the way down to Abu Dhabi, Singapore, and Sydney. So please feel free to reach the local representatives if you have any follow-up questions or ideas that you would like to work on with us. Now let's dig into the Aimsun offering, what our expertise is, and how do we help transport authorities and stakeholders. In this slide, you can see that we, on a higher level, distribute our work across 3 components: understanding, forecasting, and decision-making related to transportation problems. What do I mean by that? By understanding, we are aware that our users, our customers, are collecting a lot of transportation data. Hence, we help them to understand the performance of the transportation network they operate or administer. We help them understand mobility-related questions based on data. Next, from the understanding that we build, we go to the next level, which is forecasting, predictive capabilities. We are working on a number of projects where we move from the situation today into the situation in the next few minutes, hours, or days, or even months. So we have been working significantly on a number of projects where predictive traffic capabilities have been developed. And I will present some of these project examples in the forthcoming slides. Finally, we are not shy of working with transportation operators in real-time operations, providing decision support. We do have a solution, which is called Aimsun Live, which is integrated in transportation control centers, and it helps operators to select, evaluate the best response plans at any given moment to mitigate problems in their transportation networks. The Aimsun team is a team of technologists. We have several departments that combine their skills. We have a global presence, so we can answer questions in your regions. On this slide, you can see a few of the important technical teams from professional services, so our own modelers and data engineers from the product team, a small solution design team, which tackles the new challenges and innovative problem statements, a research projects team, and finally a data science that is working heavily on the latest machine learning and artificial intelligence topics. I do see two factors that help us succeed in the market, and that is the end-to-end expertise, because we not only own the software development process for Aimsun Next, but we can also modify the software in a way that we can help our customers add data and add functionality to the software to tackle the most complex challenges. Next, we combine this data science engineering with modeling know-how. So we work on the best combination between data-driven solutions and model-based solutions. And I will also show you examples of that. So before I dig into the individual solutions, please let me just introduce a little bit or motivate for our work. Of course, as many of you come from transport authorities, consultancies, we are all more than aware that with digitalization, as it proceeds, more and more data is being collected. Hence, we need to also process them, analyze them, and treat them to extract valuable insights. As we also all know, data is sometimes erroneous or missing. So hence, we need to clean this data to make them more reliable. To extract reliability of data, we have tools how to assess data quality, how to remove erroneous data, and how to even fill missing data with estimated or modeled values. All of this is being done in our data science and engineering teams before deploying it into projects. AI obviously is helping us to automate, scale these processes, and typically to extract what we call traffic patterns, which are representatives of typical traffic conditions. But we don't only stay with the data processes, we move to modeling, and often we connect the two. Hence, of course, in our industry, digital twins have become a popular tool, or let's say an offering. In the past, we used to call every model a traffic model. Now we speak more about digital twins, and I would like to quickly distinguish how do I perceive what a digital twin is. For me and many of our colleagues, a digital twin, in comparison to a traffic model, it's a tool that is fed with real-time data. It's continuously fed with this data, or high-frequency data. It has the capability of updating itself based on these real-time feeds. And it has the capability of raising alarms when some unforeseen or incident conditions appear. So the true representative of such a digital twin is our Aimsun Live solution. The digital twins matter in transport, of course, for a number of cases which are listed here. So primarily in real-time traffic operations, predictive analytics, and optimization of our road networks. Next to, of course, safety and sustainability topics. You may have attended the last two webinars hosted by my colleague Alan and with experts Tessa and Tim. In these webinars, you would have been introduced with the Aimsun Next modeling software, and in the second webinar with a particular technical topic of adaptive traffic control systems. If you haven't seen these webinars, here you are provided with the links, so please feel free to revisit them. Now, today, we are going to make the step from Aimsun Next towards the digital mobility solutions. Let me explain what you see on the right side of this slide. We have structured our solution portfolio in a way that the best corresponds to the needs of our users. The visual representation of this portfolio is represented by different bubbles, and we have spatially separated them by its fundamentals. The Aimsun Insight and Aimsun Predict are two purely data-driven solutions, which means we obtain data from you, either historical data for Aimsun Insight or historical and real-time data feeds for Aimsun Predict, and we deploy the solutions to help you with your problem. On the lower part, we see Aimsun Start and Aimsun Plus. These are two model-based solutions. Aimsun Start is a solution for rapid scenario assessment. This is, as it says, a solution to start exploring the world of transportation modeling. Aimsun Plus, it's a full-scale model-based solution. I will come to that also in a minute. And finally, Aimsun Live, it's a combination of data-driven and model-based solutions for real-time decision support in real-time traffic operations. In today's webinar, I'm going to cover the four initial solutions: Insight, Predict, Start, and Plus. In the next webinar series, hosted by my colleague Dimitris, we will cover the Aimsun Predict and especially the Aimsun Live solution in more detail. Okay, let us get started in the technicalities. Aimsun has worked in the past years on building an adaptable architecture that will support the mentioned tasks in a flexible and efficient and cost-effective way. First, we have built a number of modules for offline analytics. The names of the modules are pretty self-explanatory, but let me still spend at least few words. We have built modules such as raw data analyzer, which treats the incoming data, thus homogenizes the data, and prepares them for further quality checks. Offline cleaner is a module that normalizes data, fuses data, finds missing data, fills data gaps with estimated values, and prepares data for analysis. Pattern generator, it's a tool that extracts traffic patterns from historical data, which are further used in predictive analytics or even for modeling. Demand generator, it's a tool that transforms patterns into basically origin-destination matrices, which are further used in transportation modeling. Next, we have a group of real-time data analytics, which obviously have the goal of enabling similar data processing tools, but in a real-time fashion, which is the reality acquirer, is online cleaner, online pattern matcher, and a quality monitor. And then we have a number of functional modules that we can deploy with our customers' infrastructure. Starting from the right, unusual traffic detector, network state estimator, which is basically a module that fills gaps in a road network which is undetected with estimated model values, a network mobility forecaster, which is basically the core predictive module of Aimsun Predict and Live, incident detector. This is a powerful tool that can spot the incidents or unusual supply values of the road infrastructure, hence suggest there is an incident, and a collision risk predictor, which is a latest prototyped module to spot or highlight potential collision risk even before collision can occur. On the simulations part, we obviously have the offline simulator, which is represented by Aimsun Next software, which we use, but also we are able to move the offline simulation into an online environment and speed up the simulations and prepare a traffic model in a way that supports faster and real-time simulation in the infrastructure or in the operating center, and thus support response plan evaluation and simulation-based prediction faster than real-time. Finally, these are more the back-end components of our solutions. Of course, front-end is as important as the back-end. We have a number of tools to visualize the outcomes and provide reports and results to our customers. Now, you have seen the entire modular setup of the different Aimsun solutions. Now we are going to break it down per solution stream and show you how these different modules are combined into a final product or project, let's say. Let's start with Aimsun Insight. As I said in the past, Aimsun Insight is purely a data-driven solution. Hence, in this slide, we see that historical data is fed into our data processing engines. And at the end of the day, we create a data visualization, a report, an analysis of the data that has been provided to us. Typically, road authorities provide us with data about traffic performance. Should it be traffic flow, counts, occupancy, speed from floating car data? Should it be public transport operation performance with highly disaggregated data of bus operations? These are the typical examples. In this slide, we see an exemplary workflow of data homogenization and cleaning on the right side, a typical display of a quality of incoming data after treatment or maybe before treatment, and how we improve the quality of the input data. The result of data treatment is extraction of traffic patterns, which we see on the bottom part of the slide, for different day types. On the bottom right part of the slide, we see an example of a traffic calendar, or let's say a pattern calendar that displays a number of different day types per certain time period. This helps us and the customer to understand the typical conditions And it's a preparatory step to, of course, spot incident or non-recurrent conditions when things go not as planned. So Aimsun Insight is truly a preparatory step for Aimsun Predict, because we have built the base for understanding the recurrent conditions, and then we can plug in real-time data and raise alarms when non-expected conditions appear. Few of the clients are mentioned on the left bottom part of this slide. Representatives of road transport authorities, public transport authorities, and integrated transport centers. I have chosen the Abu Dhabi Mobility project, which we called the Analytics as a Service, as an example of a project where we customize Aimsun Insight to digest a wealth of different data sources. You can see them listed in the middle of the slide. These data sources cover information of population movements origined from cell data, so mobile phone, telephone data. It also includes data on water, electricity consumption, population and land use data. So you see that we are not only covering the traditional traffic data, but virtually the data origin is unlimited. But next to it, we see more traditional data from traffic records, highway speed data, bus, taxi data, and so on. All of this is homogenized, normalized, processed, and placed into a standard database, which in this case is called Fusion, as it's fusing different data records and prepared for visualization by third party. We have worked on probably several millions to billions of data points, so scale matters. And the end result can be seen in this display. In a front end, all the data records which have been processed, cleaned, and prepared for visualizations are then moved to a visualization tool, which is the client's choice, obviously. Here we see the origin destination patterns for a selected example zone. So this was a nice project, and it has demonstrated our capability of working with a lot of different data, applying data engineering and science to the data inputs. A bit of a different project is still ongoing in Bavaria, in Germany. And in this project, we are developing an engine that provides insights into congestion statistics. I think we are all aware of commercial traffic index reports, updated regularly, provided globally. In this case, the customer wished to apply not a standard or commercial engine, but a very specific incident or the congestion detection algorithm, and have a number of customized tools. So we have engaged in a project that for the Bavarian Road Administration creates a customized engine for detection, processing, and analysis of congestions. The base and most important data input is, besides the road network, floating car data, segment-based floating car data, but also some complementary data on incidents, roadworks, and accidents, or even traffic signal positions. As an output, the customer gets some way of basic, very repeatable, consistent reporting of statewide statistics on congestions. In an expert use, so there is a differentiation between basic and expert use, more tweaking and customization of the parameters is allowed, tracking of the congestions across connected road categories across the network is allowed, and even a congestion root cause analysis is deployed. So we can assign the root cause of the detected congestions. Very, very interesting project. Now, let me move on from insights, so providing insights on historical data, to predict, to operations, to spotting those unusual or suspected traffic conditions or suspected incident conditions and in real time. So obviously we are bringing the real-time data into the process, and let me demonstrate this functionality on a particular project example. Here in this slide, you see basically the basic answers that Aimsun Predict can provide. It does feed, or let's say digest, the real-time data and spot abrupt changes in the data. Should it be flow data? Should it be speed drops? Should it be parking occupancy peaks? Should it be emission drop or peaks? Should it be any other time series? The engines of Aimsun Predict can spot these abrupt changes, hence generate alerts. Next, we have the ability through forecasting to look in the future, and based on the patterns that have been prepared and the current trends in the real-time data, do a forecast of the upcoming traffic situations. This is important for road operators, where maybe for maintenance reasons, you are going to close some lanes, reduce capacity, and you want to know basically from what traffic state or what time can I apply these capacity reductions, when maybe every minute matters to finish the construction on time. There's no simulation in this solution. Everything is still data-driven. As an example, I have picked a project here in Spain, in Catalonia, which is called the C32 Living Lab. Here, the client Abertis Autopistas have asked us to deploy Aimsun Predict on a managed motorway in Catalonia. It's also a tolled motorway, and this motorway acts as a living lab. Technologies are tested, prototypes are developed. Customers paying the toll on this motorway can use their own app. In the future, it is planned to receive information in this app. So we as Aimsun are contributing to this innovation by providing traffic monitoring, traffic prediction, and incident detection as off-the-shelf engines. And in addition to that, we are also prototyping and developing a new speed recommendation engine based on real-time emissions collected on this motorway, and also based on incidents detected on this motorway. So as an end goal, the users can be warned with incidents downstream, and their speed can be actively influenced by speed recommendations. Now, let us move on from data-driven solutions to solutions which require building a model, a behavior model, because not every model is it's a model. In the terms of simulation, of course, in our data-driven aspects, we also speak of data-driven modeling. Here we speak about the classical behavior modeling in terms of using our Aimsun Next simulator. So the distinguishing factor for Aimsun Start is that a priori, there is no or very little data available regarding demands, probably even networks and user behavior in those networks. Hence, if there is interest to still start with modeling and explore the world of modeling, we have said that we can use all the available data, use open source data, and if still data is missing, then we have developed estimations, or we call them synthesizers, which help us fill the gaps. So in Aimsun Start, there is an offline simulator and a visualization tool. What is the purpose of it? Perhaps some clients don't have the data, don't have the time or the budgets to engage into modeling, are still interested to get a sensation of this tool and its value. Hence, the typical model building process, it's the following. We engage with either OpenStreetMap data or with TomTom network imports, which we are now capable of automating and importing into our models and do an initial network import. Next, again, we can either use TomTom OD analysis data as a starting point for placing demand from zone to zone, or we get the help of our internal synthetic demand tools. Traffic control or signal plans is also an important part of traffic modeling. Hence, we have developed our own synthetic control plans tooling, which helps us develop plausible signal plans. No one is, of course, saying that this is one-to-one to reality. We also seen in the previous webinar that we have a lot of different emulators to cover the real-time traffic control. But in this perspective, in this use case, synthetic control plans should be sufficient. We also have importers of the TomTom traffic stats, so we can get initial information about speeds and travel times if the budget allows it. Finally, public transport data, typically through GTFS, is imported and refined. And as a result of Aimsun Start, there's a model ready to calibrate. Does it answer all the questions? Certainly not. What questions can it answer? Questions related to network only, so accessibility analysis, yes. Can it answer questions related to demand? Maybe to an extent, maybe relative measures, relative comparisons, yes. So bringing a mitigation measure, testing its impact with relative comparisons based on demand, which is not fully calibrated, yes, it is a way to start. We have few examples of this approach across the world. One of them is in Colombia, where we have been asked by the International Automobile Association to create a urban model of a city. And we have truly used this Aimsun Start approach to generate a wider area model to create plausible routings of vehicles from zone to zones, to create plausible speeds and travel times, plausible delays. And in a follow-up step, we have improved the fidelity of the model in a selected corridor. We have brought more data. We have created, or let's say refined multiple intersections. And hence we could start implementing mitigation measures and provide even absolute comparisons, because this particular corridor has been equipped with some data. So Aimsun Start was a preparatory step towards a more refined modeling in the step. And this was delivered in shorter timescales and, of course, in appropriate budgets. Then let's move to Aimsun Plus, which is truly a follow-up step after Aimsun Next. Here, the distinguishing factor is that we do have the possession of historical data, which is sufficient to calibrate and validate these offline models. So in comparison to Aimsun Start, we are employing the modules, analyzing the raw data, we are cleaning the raw data, we are extracting traffic patterns, and we are generating traffic demands for its use in the offline model. Aimsun Plus comes also with the visualization part. So it's basically a modeling as a service solution for our clients. Here in this slide, I repeat that this is a all-in-one mobility model. And if you are familiar with Aimsun Next, you know that one of the most important distinguishing factors of Aimsun Next that it is a multi-tier model. Its architecture has been built to support mobility modeling on all scales, from macroscopic through mesoscopic to microscopic, and even with transitions in between with hybrid modeling. So basically, no matter the scale, Aimsun Plus can provide you with the right modeling level in one software. The solution is based on non-real-time simulation, and yeah, let us display few examples. I like the example of the Paris framework model, which has been on the market since 2010. We have a great partnership with the city of Paris as our client, and this model has followed the typical path where a strategic regional model, a demand model, has been used to generate networks and the strategic demand for us, and we have engaged in sort of dynamizing this model to a fully operational dynamic model. You can guess from the images that we have a mesoscopic assignment in the wider center of Paris, with a sort of subsequent macroscopic assignment outside. So we have a realistic traffic flow patterns on the boundary between the macro and mesoscopic part. And one of the best features is that this is a preparatory step to ensure plausible routing across the entire area. And then we can zoom in and engage in microscopic modeling in limited corridors or areas. You probably heard of the city of Paris being very progressive in transforming urban spaces, reducing the number of car lanes, applying transformation for more public space, more slow modes spacing. This is all great examples where Aimsun Next has been used to support this transformation process by applying microscopic simulations in pre-assessment of these changes. Also, Paris has hosted Olympic Games, so there was a number of mitigation measures and scenarios being tested by this tool. So it's truly a great model that we continue to use to support the transformation process of the city of Paris into a more, let's say, livable, slower modes friendly city. Next, I would like to show you the so-called hybrid simulation model of the Emirate of Abu Dhabi. We have built this in a bit of a similar fashion. So there is a strategic travel demand model in the Emirate, and we have again went the dynamization step and prepared a initial macroscopic assignment and a large Emirate-wide mesoscopic traffic assignment. And hence, similar to Paris, we can engage with a number of larger scale, but also micro scale scenario testing basically testing schemes at any level. We have also focus on performance, so the simulation or the assignments are ever better or faster than before. And last but not least, we have connected our model to the exact same Fusion database that I've spoken about in the Aimsun Insight slide to keep the model up to date and to feed it with updated, or let's say latest historical data. In the last example of Aimsun Plus, as I don't want to only show you large-scale models of countrywide or region-wide networks, I have picked the example of the city of Prague, which is engaged in next-generation traffic signal control. This is a project with the partner of traffic, VNext Traffic, or our parent company, which has developed so-called Fusion network adaptive traffic control system. And in this specific project, we have used Aimsun Next to co-simulate basically Aimsun Next with Unix Fusion. Unix Fusion, it's an evolution of the Scoot system, adding new features, adding multimodality, adding optimization, adding some predictive capabilities in the internal model. And we as Aimsun have been able to basically create a sandbox environment for initial Fusion calibration and deployment. Hence, we have built a tool to benchmark Fusion with existing control to support its deployment, also by visualizing the network impacts on the roads of Prague. So this is an example of a simulation assisted new innovative traffic control system. A last slide on the standard solutions portfolio before I move to the last portion, which are the custom solutions. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that these solutions are built in a way that the initial solution acts as an insight or as an entry point for a later stage upgrade. So here you see a couple of potential upgrade paths where these are obvious, that for an Aimsun solution with addition of real-time data, you can build an Aimsun Predict solution. And with the addition of a simulation model, this can turn into a full Aimsun Live solution. Similarly, if you want to do first the step of Aimsun Insight, build a large-scale model or a model of an area, and then move it to an online model, you also have the path from Aimsun Insight to Plus to Live. Finally, if you are a newbie to modeling, you can start with Aimsun Start. Once you decide this is the path you want to take, you start collecting your proprietary data, you start equipping infrastructure with detectors, you can turn Aimsun Start into an Aimsun Plus, and maybe in the future then equipping it with real-time data, you can move to Aimsun Live. So the message is an upfront invest in Insight or Start. It's not lost investment. Things are reused and built on top for adding more functionality. Let me touch on the last point before wrapping up, which are Aimsun custom solutions. In the company, we have a small team of solution designers, which have the specific task of finding a solution to the problems which are non-standard, which require customizing our tools, which require developing architectures and concepts with hosting environments, with new interfaces for data exchange, with specific user access and results presentations. Besides these fast solutions, we engage in these solutions too. So if nothing of the previous solutions have ticked your box, please don't be afraid of reaching to us, asking what it would take to answer your question. I have prepared a few examples of custom solutions that we have worked in the past or are still working on. And let me go through a couple of items. A demand responsive transit. It's, of course, a topic which is transforming urban mobility, but hopefully also rural mobility very soon. And for that, we have extended our software Aimsun Next to something which we call Aimsun Right, and we allow to plug in third-party fleet managers. We have tools to create synthetic demands, synthetic requests for transportation, and it's basically an open, extendable environment to test different demand-responsive transit algorithms. One of my favorites is the next item, which I called AI-based prototyping. Here we are sometimes asked by agencies that would like to engage into data-driven solutions, where in previously this has been handled by transportation modeling only. As an example, we have worked on a rapid land use assessment engine, where basically the question was, can we see impacts of placing new developments in my city in split seconds, in a couple of seconds, rather than engaging in the entire chain of travel demand modeling, forecasting, potentially dynamic assignments, and so on. And here we have combined our modeling know-how with the machine learning know-how, and we have prototyped a system that enables immediate evaluation of, well, of course, high-level evaluation of placing new offices, new residential places, new commercial areas into your areas of interest, and generating the traffic demand and assigning it in the matter of few seconds. Next, we are not shy of engaging into simulations and analysis of airport operations around the airport. So the on-street transportation processes, probably parking management is of course a common topic around airports. So we can replicate the current status around the airports and then simulate any new designs. Let me maybe pick one or two more. Hot lane and park and ride concepts is something we have also experienced with from the past. Typically, saturated urban centers suffer from large commuter streams, which create frustration for daily incoming commuters. Hence, road operators think of introducing some sort of fast lanes or tolled managed entries in the city, but also to provide alternatives for those that cannot afford the monetary solution, and organizing park and rides, shared drives, changes to public transportation. We have experience with modeling and predicting impacts on these multimodal corridors entering downtown areas. And finally, automated vehicle simulation, or even connecting to full AV stacks for their verification. It's something that we engaged in a lot in our past projects. And again, we have enhanced our Aimsun Next product for that. Then I would say this is the last slide before wrapping up. in this table, you basically see the metrics of our individual standard solutions and a custom solution. If none of the standard solution ticks your box and your question. As I said in the beginning of the webinar, Aimsun Predict and especially Aimsun Live will be covered in depth in our next webinar series. And so I will make a full stop here before passing the word to my colleague Dimitris, which can present his next webinar series in a brief. So Dimitris, the floor is yours if you can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, Martin, for passing me the. Hello everyone. I'm Dimitris Triantafylos. I work in Aimsun as a senior product specialist here in the Aimsun headquarters in Barcelona. I will be the host of the next webinar series, which is called Real. The name, I don't have the exact name, but it is related to some examples of Aimsun real-time mobility solutions. It is scheduled for May 22nd at 10 a.m. Central European Time. So pin that in your calendar. And actually, I will show you some examples on the Aimsun Predict solution and the Aimsun Live solution that were discussed in this webinar by my colleague Martin. So we will look at how real-time data analytics can help you get accurate predictions. And also, when you add the simulation on top to the Aimsun Predict, you can get the Aimsun Live valuable results. So we will demonstrate how the Aimsun Live decision support system can benefit various clients around the world. And by using the Predict, we can see the real value of the system that offers by cleaning data in real time, providing network state estimation, providing network state prediction, showing network performance alerts, and online incident detection. Also, it is capable of providing incident risk prediction and speed recommendation, routing traveler information based on prediction, travel time, air quality prediction, situation awareness and monitoring, and bus travel time prediction as well. By using the Aimsun Live system, you can get also prediction as well. So you can get everything that the Aimsun Predict system provides, plus forecasts of upcoming traffic conditions that can be simulated in under 5 minutes. So it's very fast, accurate traffic. It can be installed in a traffic management center and uses this simulated prediction to anticipate potential problems, and also for the traffic operator to take actions in order to stop the congestion before this is built up. So the Aimsun Live can help transportation agencies save time, also money, and effort by assessing conditions and evaluating actions before any intervention in the real world. So I will be happy to see you in the next webinar series. Martin, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Dimitris. So it will be an interesting webinar to look at. I read here a question Has Aimsun Next been integrated into Aimsun Plus? Yes, that is very much the case. Basically, as I said at the beginning, we as developers of the Aimsun Next software, we can, of course, use it and develop it in the way we need. So Aimsun Next has been released for general usage for you as users, license holders. Plus, it is also being used by our own professional services to develop solutions under the umbrella Aimsun Plus. So it's you can think of it as using the software, on our own. Okay. What is the level of contribution to the OCC? Maybe you can specify what do you mean by OCC? That I would appreciate it, and then I can come back to you on that matter. All right. Then let us conclude at this point. There is a new question, so maybe I will pick up this one more. Okay, so if there are any issues with the software because you have reached maybe a problem, then please feel free to react and engage with our support. One of our support colleagues will definitely come back to you. The email is info@aimsun.com. Otherwise, there is also a user forum which will help you. Okay, now the question has been answered. So what is the level of contribution to the operational control center? So typically, in our most typical setup where we integrate Aimsun Predict or Aimsun Live into operational control centers, we act in the background. So in our solution design, we agree on the system architecture, where typically Aimsun Predict or Live is being run on a specific server, and it's exchanging data through common interfaces, whether proprietary or open standard interfaces. And hence, Aimsun Predict and Live are running 24/7 in the background. Depending on the customer requirements, we can introduce redundancy, high availability concepts. So we have obviously concepts for mirroring the solution. Should the operating control center also be mirrored from a primary to a secondary to a disaster recovery center, we are compliant with all the requirements and deploy our infrastructure as needed. And then the contribution, it's feeding the data of the predictions and the simulation-based predictions into the front end of the operational control center, so that the operator doesn't necessarily even need to know that there is Aimsun Predict as a standalone solution in the backend. We are fully integratable in the customer's front ending. Okay, the time has about to appear. There is one more question. Okay, for a city with no experience on any simulation software, with no real-time data, what is the best Aimsun solution you can recommend for a start? I think even the question already gets the answer, as it mentions the start. So it is definitely the Aimsun Start solution. If you have no data, no experience with any of the software, please let us know what data is available, what is the research question, or what is the problem to be solved, and we will prepare you with a answer if it's really Aimsun Start, or if we can already engage in Aimsun Plus. Next question. Are there any tutorials for new features of Aimsun? Yes, so basically we have a number of channels where we stream and provide information. It is first our Aimsun webpage, which has a section of technical notes where product specialists engage in presenting new functionalities. We have our documentation, which is available online and for all the license holders, where you always have all the new features described. So you can engage that. And last but not least, you have the contact to your sales representative or our support desk here in Aimsun. With that, it's 10 a.m. in the European time zone, so I think we can stop here, and we'll come back to your last questions in the QA chat offline. I would like to thank you for your attention, and please reach us with any follow-up questions, and have a good day. Bye.